So this is KC right here. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
And he is a Pattaya real estate expert. He's been out here for over 25 years. He is the CEO of Town and Country Property located in Jomtien, and also is the founder of Movers and Shakers, which is a very popular networking group, which we can talk about a little bit later.
So yes, my name is Casey. I'm Dutch. I'm born in Holland, of course. Came to Thailand in 1997, which I think now is about 25 years that I'm living here. My background, my history in brief, starts probably when I was a kid. I was a lousy student. I was a dropout at school. I couldn't be bothered about doing my homework or whatever, so my father in the end of the day was seriously pulling his hair out and, oh God, Casey, what do you want to do in your life in the future? I don't know, Papa. I like to eat and I like to drink, as you can see. So why don't you send me to some kind of a school that I can learn how to be a cook? Okay, that's a good idea. So I went to one of those typical blue-collar labor schools and I studied to be a cook. And then suddenly, as if I saw the light, it was like, wow, I actually like going to school now and I start to enjoy it. So after a couple of years, I kind of graduated from this labor school. And on the day of my certification, I had to come to the principal's office. And I thought, oh dear, something is wrong. But the principal, he was very kind and he asked me, what are you going to do now? I said, well, I already have 3 jobs, so I'm going to work. He said, if I could let you go on a hotel management school, would you do it? I said, well, my education is not of that level. That's impossible because they ask minimum high school or something like this. But anyway, long story short, I said, yes, if you can get me on hotel management school, I would certainly do it. And so I did. And I finally graduated, still not doing any homework, hotel management back in Holland. So I rolled into the hospitality industry right after that. Been working since quite a few years in hospitality management, logistics as a supplier to restaurants and catering companies and whatnot, until a friend of mine asked me, wow, would you like to help me to set up a restaurant in Asia? I said, well, that sounds very appealing. And where in Asia? In Thailand. I said, where in Thailand? In Pattaya. And I just came back from Pattaya. So it was like, really? Are you kidding me?
It's got a good time.
What type of restaurant are you talking about? He said, well, it's very upmarket, kind of fusion kitchen between French and Thai cuisine. And me, as a kind of lover of great food, I always had a passion for Thai food because I seriously think it's the best thing in the world. And so yes, I came here, we set up the restaurant, and that's how I came to Thailand. It's not because of sex and girls, but it's because of the food, believe me or not. So anyway, the restaurant was very successful. It was on Beach Road in Pattaya City, called Samsara. And anyway, there was more other people interested in our restaurant as well. And so eventually we sold the place to a large pizza company that was very interested to take over our location, basically, because for them it was very strategic. Anyway, so I was out of work after 2 years, and friends and guests of the restaurant, they were asking, what are you doing nowadays, Casey? And I said, well, not really much, but, is there anything I can help you with? And then they said, well, we've got this hotel and we're thinking about renovating the lobby. Could you help us out? Because they were very interested to work with me because the restaurant that we used to run was kind of way ahead of its time in terms of design and layout, and it was looking quite beautiful. And that's basically because of the ideas we brought in. So I said, okay, well, let's have a look at your hotel lobby then and see if I can give you some advice. So I actually started to doing turnkey renovation and remodeling works, not just for commercial properties like a hotel, but also for various homes, interiors, even a dental clinic, an Irish pub, and you name it. Until one day I came across a guy that just started a small real estate company. And he said, wow, if you could join our team, then we got a real one-stop formula. And the one-stop formula is if we sell a plot of land to a client and he wants to build a villa, you can design the villa with your team, and then we can build the villa, and that will be awesome. So I decided to join his new, fresh real estate company, and that company was called Town and Country Property. So there were two partners. One was a silent partner, never came to the office, and the other one, that was my director, so to say. He really enjoyed playing golf, so he was never in the office. And if he came to the office, it was probably close to noontime or something like this, where I was already sitting in the office since 8 o'clock in the morning. So I thought, there must be another way to run this place. And then I met my current Belgian partner, business partner, and we decided to relieve the other two from their duties and pressure. And so we took over the company, and that's 20 years ago now. And we still run Town and Country Property as of today. So that's what I'm doing, real estate. We dropped the one-stop formula, so I don't do remodeling jobs anymore. But see, if you do a remodeling job for somebody in a private home, or you build an Irish pub or whatever, it's actually a lot of pressure, because that person thinks that his project is the most important project in the world. So you can expect a 7 o'clock phone call in the morning. Casey, do you think that this electric plug on the wall should not be 10 centimeters higher, because I bought this flat screen TV and I think it won't fit otherwise? So that is something you're not waiting for, right? So me and my partner, we decided, let's drop all this turnkey contracting work for third parties, but let's build our own. So a couple of years ago, we decided to build our own residential projects. And by now we have completed 3 residential projects, of which 2 are like housing projects. One is called Whispering Palms. The other one is called The Meadows. That's where I still live, with 46 beautiful homes. And we built a condo in Jomtien, not far from the beach, with 68 luxury apartments. And that's what we do. So with this brief history, you kind of know my background a little bit and why I'm still around in Pattaya. See, as a real estate agent, it gives you a bit of a niche when you are involved in doing your own projects as well. And doing your own project means that you become a colleague of, back then, all the other property developers here in Pattaya. So you learn to know your market pretty well, and you get first-hand information from all your buddies that are building new projects.
Right.
So with this first-hand information, we can actually serve our clients much better if they come to you as a real estate broker and asking for advice. What do you think where I should buy a nice place to live or whatever? So I was able to tell them, listen, if you wait just a little bit, in this area, on that spot, there's this developer that's going to build a new project. Wouldn't that be great? And if you buy off plan, you probably get the best promotion prices as well. So would you think that's a good idea? Yeah, that's a great idea. So we rapidly became one of the best selling agents on those type of off-plan developments. Years go by, and now we see that we're not the only one broker in Pattaya. There's probably 250 of them. So there's a lot of competition on the market. But like I said, we're still here after 20 years. People recognize us because we have a good name, good reputation. And the thing is with websites and internet and social media. That it takes many years to build up a good name and a good image for your own company, and it only takes probably 5 minutes to break it completely down because people start to gossip and to comment on Facebook or whatnot. But yeah, we concentrate on real estate. I'm not selling any puppy dogs. I don't do any rental motorbikes. I'm not a lawyer office or whatever. But I'm 100% dedicated to real estate here in Pattaya.
Yeah, and it seems like you're very passionate about real estate too, and kind of drives you.
Yeah, well, like I said, I was a dropout at school until I started to do something that I like.
Right.
Now, the difference between hospitality or real estate is actually, there's quite a bit of an overlap. See, the way I see it, if you are helping a client to find him a nice property to live at, whether it's a condo or a house, it doesn't matter, with his family and kids that go to school, maybe foreigners that relocate and come to live in Thailand. Apart from your income and commission that you make as an agent, but it just feels good, to be able to find your client the right match, and then to see his family move into this lovely property and continue with their life. And I don't know, it's just something I like to please people, and I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, true. So you've been out here for over 20 years. Can you briefly explain to me what is the significant difference in the cost of living compared to 20 years ago and now? Because I hear a lot of stories that people say like, oh, everything was so cheap before. Could you kind of tell how life was 20 years ago in Pattaya?
Yes, well, sure. I think life became more expensive like anywhere else in the world. Did it jump up massively? I don't really think so. I mean, does your lifestyle change over the years? Yes, that I do think. So, if you get more mature and older, your lifestyle probably changed from, having a cheap holiday on a camping, maybe to go to a more, foreign abroad destination, or you spend a nice weekend in a luxury hotel, have a nice brunch on a Sunday or whatever. In that respect, I think you might spend more money. Did life become more expensive in Thailand because of economy, or I don't know. I don't keep track on the prices of a liter of milk or a kilo of sugar, or how much it is to fill up my tank with petrol. So in that respect, I can't really give you a good answer. But I do know that people with a lot less money to spend every month, that they still get around in a pretty decent way, I think. But it depends on what level of society you are, or if I would live on 15,000 baht a month, of course I can't go out for luxury dinners or whatnot, but if I live like some others live, I still eat, I still drink, but it's probably not alcohol, but I would drink water, and I would eat rice, and I would eat street food all the time, which is, by the way, delicious. So in that respect, I think Thailand is still a very affordable destination. But in the end of the day, it totally depends on the person and on yourself of how much money you want to spend. And that's always related to the budget you have available to spend and your kind of lifestyle. What do you like? You like to go out to bars and whatever, or you like to stay home, invite friends for a barbecue. That makes a big difference.
Yeah, that could, if you're into the partying lifestyle, you could go through your money pretty quick, right?
Well, you can see in Thailand, not just only in Pattaya, but there's a lot of people that come here on a holiday. They've been saving up their income, their salaries, to spend 2 weeks here in Pattaya or in Bangkok or in Chiang Mai, wherever, it doesn't matter. And then during these 2 weeks, they are in a complete holiday mood, and so they spend money like well, it's water, right? But that's their budget for 2 weeks, and then a lot of people that are looking at them think, "Wow, these guys, they're not so old, or but they spend money like they're a millionaire." And maybe they're right, because I call them the 2-week millionaires.
Right.
And after 2 weeks, they go back to their country, work hard to be able to come back next year. So I think, yes, you're right. If you want, you can spend a lot of money anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter where you are. You are in Thailand, you are in America, or back in Holland. You can spend money as long as you have money to spend.
Right. I grew up in Las Vegas.
Oh.
And I remember when I was in college, some of my friends would invite me to, go to the bars and stuff like that. And some of those bars, like one small drink, like just this big, was like $25. I was like, what? So I didn't go out to the bars too much with them. But I've kind of made a personal decision. I don't really drink anymore.
Okay.
It's been quite a while since I've drank.
That's good.
But even if I go out, like I'm completely okay with other people drinking.
Okay.
It's fine.
Sure.
But I'll just sit there and drink. My go-to drink when I go out is soda water with lime.
Oh, very nice.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
So in your personal opinion, what are 2 or 3 desirable areas in Pattaya that you think people who want to live out here should look into?
Well, on top of the list for me, it's what people call here the dark side of Pattaya. It sounds very dodgy and it sounds very dark side, but it's actually the area in East Pattaya where residents of Pattaya city live, and that's a working community. So why do they call it dark side? It's actually very simple. These people, they wake up early morning to go to work, and that means they sleep early at night. So around 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock the lights go out, and that's why they call it the dark side. If you take a simple bird's eye view on Google Maps, you can actually zoom into Pattaya city. And then you can see a big difference between the east side of Pattaya, which are all rooftops and bungalows and villas and whatnot, compared to the other side, which is the commercial side of Pattaya city, where you have the infrastructure clearly of hotels, restaurants, shopping malls, etc., etc. So for me, top of the list is the dark side of Pattaya. Now, why is it on the top of my list? Because there's no congestion of traffic, it's always an easy flow. Everything on the east side in Pattaya is available, so you got your local markets, you got your local shopping, there's taxi service, etc., etc. Close to the motorway, so you're easy to commute if you want to go to Bangkok, or if you have kids at school at the Regent or the rugby school or whatever. So for me, it's kind of ideal. It's very private, it's quiet, it's very safe, and so number 1, East Pattaya, the dark side of Pattaya city. Number 2, I think number 2 would probably be Pratamnak Hill. Pratamnak Hill is connected, actually it's a sort of peninsula, the center between Pattaya city and Jomtien. And this peninsula is on a hill, that's why it's called Pattaya or Pratamnak Hill. And part of Pratamnak Hill is called Cozy Beach. I like that area. Why? Because the roads are clean, wide. Why are the roads clean and wide? Well, because of somebody of the royal family has a residence there, so it's for safety concerns, etc., etc. But what makes Pratamnak interesting? I think since the couple of maybe last 10 years, Pratamnak and especially Cozy Beach has become very trendy. Why did it become trendy? Because there's a pure beachfront, which is kind of on a cliff with beautiful views over Kolan Island, and restaurants started to pop up in that specific area. It's a long strip with a total of 6 or 7 different restaurants, real trendy places. To call a few, you got Lunar, you got Sky Gallery, Chocolate Factory, Oxygen, etc., etc. So, and all of these places are lovely, and especially for the trendy kids nowadays, because those are the selfie moments that they can share on TikTok, they can share on their Facebook. So it's always busy there. You see a lot of cars from Bangkok, and it really became a destination in Pattaya. So that's probably spot number 2 that I would recommend at least to visit if you come to Pattaya. Now, where is number 3? I'm not really into central Pattaya because I think it's quite busy and
this area is pretty nice, the Jomtien area.
Yeah, this area where my office is quite nice. We are here located in Jomtien on walking distance to the beach. It's kind of laid back atmosphere if you compare to Pattaya city. So I kind of like this Jomtien area. The reason why I'm not immediately say, oh, this is my number 3 spot, because I'm not a beach person. But I reckon that most of you guys are, in favor of going to the beach every now and then. I'm a little bit picky. I don't want the sand in my toes and socks and underwear and whatnot. So I'm not a beach person, but I guess that most people actually also like the Jomtien area. It has a long beach road, I think in total 6 or 7 kilometers. And there's, nice little restaurants along the beach road. The beach itself has vendors on it and places where you can relax under an umbrella or a palm tree, and all the services that you want. If you want to have a cold drink or something to eat, people are more than happy to get it for you and to bring it to you. So yeah, that's quite nice, especially if you're a family with kids. Kids always love the beach. So I guess that's number 3 then.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Jomtien because I like being right next to the ocean.
Okay.
And I remember when I was back in Florida, if you want a nice place next to the ocean, it's going to cost you a small fortune.
Sure.
But that's one thing about Thailand is it's almost I wouldn't say quite guaranteed, but a very high likelihood that you're going to get an ocean view. But when you're looking at America, if you want an ocean view, you're going to be paying.
You have to pay for it.
Paying a lot of this.
Sure, yes.
But that's one thing I love about Pattaya is you can live pretty good for a pretty reasonable amount. Can you briefly describe the process of starting a business in Thailand? Like, how does that work?
Ooh. Okay then. So. Okay, start a business is a very general question, because what type of business do you want to start? In my case, if you want to start a real estate business, it's very simple because you don't need any license whatsoever. Of course, if you're a foreigner, you would need a work permit. So that is something you can check out on internet, what the references are and the requirements are. Of how to obtain such work permit. That is only for foreigners, not for Thais. Thais can work anything they like. However, if you are a foreigner and you would like to work as a taxi driver, I don't think you would get a work permit, because certain jobs are exclusively and only for Thai citizens, not for foreigners. But if you are a consultant of some kind or an artist or whatever, then you could easily obtain a work permit. That is one. Number 2 is you need to set up a company. That's pretty easy. There's a lot of offices that can help you with this. Once you have a company, you will find yourself an office or a shop, wherever you want to settle your business, and you take it from there. If you have the mentality of sitting behind the desk with your arms like this, waiting until the customers come in, I wish you all the best. If you're a little bit more proactive and use the right channels to advertise, make a little bit of promotion, and see how you can reach out to your clients, then again, I wish you all the best and I hope your business will flourish. Make no mistake that if you dream of living in Thailand and you think, okay, well, I've got this dream and I want to survive here, and I think if I set up some kind of business, it will be really, really easy to make a lot of money, and then, you know, I can stay here the rest of my life. It's not that easy, because anyone that wants to run an easy business and thinks, you know, everywhere I set up a business, I'm going to make lots of money, that means everybody in the world is rich and successful. That is not the case. So it totally depends on yourself, your attitude, your discipline, and to make this business work. And if you're lucky, it's going to work for you. If you're unlucky, then it's not going to work for you. So that's what I want to say about running a business.
Yeah, that's some good advice there. This is actually a question that just popped up in my head. You've met a lot of very wealthy people dealing in real estate here in Pattaya. What are some maybe habits or traits that you've noticed that are quite common in multi-millionaires here in, just from your experience?
Well, see, most affluent people that you meet will not be bragging about their richness. Is that the way to put it? It's very often those that you don't expect that they are affluent that are affluent. I would say dealing with people that have a little bit more money in general, for me as an agent, as a broker, is probably a little bit more easy than it is dealing with somebody that's absolutely stressed for money and is looking for the cheapest rental condo they can find, because, you know, with a lot of effort they are just able to put the deposit down for this unit. And those customers are in general a bit more difficult to work with than the people that are looking for a 125 million penthouse. Those people that have the budgets are very often aware of the fact that they can afford themselves to buy what they are looking for. People that are stressed for money but still want the very best, those would ask you, wow, this 6,000 baht rental apartment, how come it doesn't have a dishwasher and sea view with a jacuzzi on the balcony? Okay, so that's going to be a little bit tough, right? So for, let's say, most of the people that I know that are connected with me, that are quite rich and affluent, it's like this, very simple. When you're born with your family. There is no way you can change it. So you got your brother, your sister, whatever, your father, your mother, your grandfather, etc. However, in life, your friends are the ones that you choose by yourself. So everybody that's connected with me that has a lot of money, or anyone connected with me that are friends of mine, regardless they are rich or not rich, those are friends that I selected by myself. And all of them, I can say, are very nice people. That's what I want to say. For rich people or poor people, one thing in life that I cherish a lot is that you always have to respect other people. What I don't like is people that are like this and then look down on others. I always feel that no matter who you are or where you stand in life, if somebody needs a helping hand, you reach out and give him this helping hand. No matter he's the cleaner or the dishwasher, it doesn't matter. You know, everybody has a chance and deserves respect in life. So that's what I think.
Very, very well said. If you weren't doing real estate, what would you be doing right now, you think?
Wow. I would probably still be in hospitality. It's a passion that I have. It's something that I still put on display, especially on a Sunday at home, because I still like to cook. It's kind of a hobby. I'm a terrible cook, by the way, although my son says, you know, Papa, aroy. Aroy means yummy in Thai. Yeah, I would still be in hospitality, although I think that actual working in hospitality, whether it's a hotel or a restaurant, it's really, really hard work. And so I would rather be involved in hospitality in some way or the other, maybe as a consultant or perhaps as a supplier of establishments, but actively working like a waiter or a cook or a general manager in a hotel, that's really, really hard work. Imagine there's a public holiday, long weekend, everybody's enjoying his holiday and they come to your hotel or restaurant on birthday parties, on a special occasion like a wedding party, and you're always the one that's working. And then on your day off, which is probably on a Monday until 6 o'clock in the evening, because that's when you have to start working again, where you go? You have no social life. Your only social life are the colleagues at work that do that are in the same rhythm as you are. So I think it's really, really hard work. And then the pressure, especially in hospitality, whereby your customer, your guest is always the king. That's kind of how it works. And you have to keep smiling and be friendly, and it's not always easy. So it's quite stressful, it's tiring. But still, I would be involved in hospitality, but more likely as a consultant or advisor or supplier or something like this.
Yeah, I could definitely see in an alternate universe you being in that line of work.
Okay.
Can you share with me and our viewers one memorable memory that you have in regards to real estate, like maybe a particular client or something that was very kind of like a success story?
Well,
one that stands out?
One that stands out. See, I was nearly going to say that every deal you close is a success story, right?
Right.
So, because that's the only source of income that we have and the only way to make another person happy. One of my success stories, now believe me or not, but it's something thinking out of the box, was years and years ago. There was this Swedish guy that came to my office. Tall, blonde hair, blue eyes. He was nearly two meters tall, I think. And so I said, "Hello, sir, can I help you?" Yes, you can. "I would like to buy a guest house in Pattaya." "Oh, wow, okay, interesting. And any idea about location and budget?" He said, "Oh, my budget would be about 30 million. And location, I have no idea." I said, "Oh, did you come to Pattaya often? Are you familiar with the areas of Pattaya?" He said, "No, I just arrived yesterday and it's the first time I come to Thailand." Okay. So what I did is I gave him my business card and I told him, "Listen, how long is your holiday?" "Another 3 weeks. If within these 3 weeks you're still interested to buy a guest house, please come back to me, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you." So that was my success story, because what I did is I basically refused to work with a guy to try and sell him something that he probably would regret after whatever period of time. And so I much rather send somebody away that thinks, "Wow, that was the good thing for this guy to do," rather than to sell him something and then to be confronted after a couple of months with a problem that he's blaming me. "Yeah, you sold me this guest house and you should have warned me that it's not such an easy business to take care of," or something like this. So that's probably one of my highlights.
And then you also, if you don't mind sharing, could you share that one story too about the guy that with the penthouse?
Okay.
That was like
see, that's
quick.
back to the affluent clients, right? So sometimes it happens with an affluent client that they just walk into a property, just take a quick look around, even if it's a big property or whatever, and then really literally within minutes decide, "Okay, I'll have it." "Okay. Are you going to make an offer?" No, I'll just have it." And then later, after the deal is done, you ask a client like this, "Wow, you always buy properties like this?" "Oh yes, I've got properties in London, in LA, in New York, in Amsterdam," and oh wow, and then Well, there's not many of those around, but you know, in this one time only case it happens, then you're really kind of wow, impressed.
Yeah. It's hopefully a couple more of those come into office, right?
Would be very nice.
So in regards to valuing a condo, this is something that I don't think a lot of foreigners quite understand, especially when they see like two condos right next to each other can be completely different price points. You know, one condo might be like 4 million baht when the condo literally in the complex right next to it could be 10 million baht, similar size.
Yes.
So what are some of the things or factors that go into the valuation of a condo, especially in Pattaya?
Yes. I think the foremost important fact is the developer that built the project. Certain developers, they have a great reputation in building really top-end properties.
Like sensory, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, there's many of them. There's actually a few leading ones. You mentioned already Sensory, you got Raymond Land, you got a couple of top developers that really develop a high-end product and that's the beauty of it, that's well maintained, very well managed, very well built, and kind of keeps its value over the years. In fact, capital appreciation, it probably grows in value. So that makes a big difference when you buy in a property like one of those, or you buy in the next door property, as you say, in a much cheaper development, whereby future management, future maintenance might not be as good as in the property that you bought. That's one. So the developer is very important, I think, the reputation of the developer. Number two is individual units. You can actually buy a condo and do it out by yourself up to a standard that you think, wow, this is really, really top-notch, high-end quality. Some of the contractors here in Pattaya, they are really, really good to do those type of renovation and remodeling works. And you can actually make a beautiful property out of an almost bare shell condo. So you can upgrade the quality and the price of your individual personal listing or property by yourself. Those type of properties would fetch, when it's well presented, a lot more money than the guy that never spent 5 baht on the maintenance of his unit. So that's another reason why one or the other property is maybe more expensive, more exclusive, if you would say. Now you can also go over the top. Over the top means that you put too much of your personal preferences into a property and think, you know, oh, what I like is what everybody likes. So I've got this story about a guy that wanted to show me his lovely 10 million baht worth of 2-bedroom apartment. And when I came to inspect the unit, it started with the door handle, the floor mat, the wallpaper, the carpet on the floor, and to the sofa. Everything was Versace branded. So the bathroom, the tiles, everything, the kitchen, everything had this Versace style. And he said, wow, what do you think of the value of the property? I said, well, to be honest, I think you are catering to a very, very niche market. Because if I have 10 potential buyers that are looking for a 2-bedroom apartment, there might be only one that really loves this Versace style. The other 9 would probably say, are you asking for 10 million? Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. I need 1 million to take everything down and to put everything back into it, the way it's kind of the style that I like. So anyway, we didn't list this property. The guy didn't appreciate my honest opinion, and he thought that his palace was probably more worth than just 10 million. But I said, no, I'm really not interested, because it's such a difficult product to move. And I believe even up until to date, he's still the owner of this apartment.
Yeah, I believe it. What do you envision the future of Pattaya to look like? in the next 10, 20, 30 years? What do you think?
I'm so happy with this question. It's gonna be blooming. I mean, see, I consider myself very lucky that I've been here since 25 years, never left the scene, apart from holidays, of course. But when I first came to Pattaya, for the majority of the Pattaya area, it was a green field. Over the years, so many things happened, so many new buildings, shopping malls, and you name it. It's wonderful to see how this city really took a flight up. Now, at this moment, I'm not sure if you have noticed it, but there's a lot of infrastructure works going on. So improvement on the roads, improvements in the whole province of Chonburi actually, which is part of the so-called EEC plan. Now, what is the EEC plan? EEC plan is the Eastern Economic Corridor. Thailand has offered itself and is accepted by Asian countries to become the hub of the industrial movement of this region. And although we're here in Pattaya and we don't see any eyesore of any type of industries like gas or oil or chemical industries whatsoever, but we happen to be the neighbor of the biggest deep sea port in Thailand, which is called Lemchapang. Now, in the province of Chonburi, there are multiple large, really large industrial sites, and those are up to, let's say, top class world level industrial sites like Pintong, Hamaraj, Amata City, Amata Nakorn, etc., etc., etc. And to connect all of these industrial sites with the main port in Thailand, all the infrastructure is now being improved. And so logistics in that respect is very, very important. We're not only having Lemchapang right next to Pattaya City as our neighbor, but we also have Pattaya International Airport. Locals will call it Utapao. Utapao Airport is expanding rapidly to become 3, if not almost 5 times bigger than it actually is at the moment. Now, what's gonna do that for Pattaya City? With the EEC planning and growth, we expect roughly 500,000 jobs being created in this province. 500,000 jobs for a broker like myself sounds very appealing, but probably 95% of them are not interesting to me because those would be factory workers. However, the remaining 5%, which is still about 25,000 families, those are probably higher management, top management, expats, you name it, that are looking for accommodation, that are looking for a place where they can send their kids to school or you know, good hospitals, good shopping facilities, you name it. Now, if you look at the province of Chonburi, there's actually not many cities that would, you know, be ticking all the boxes. And all the boxes mean that, you know, there's a lively, blended community of expats living. Those are in Pattaya. There might be cities like Chonburi that are very Thai, very local, without having international schools, without having big shopping malls like Central or Terminal 21. So everything, what's happening at the moment in this province is looking at the hub of Pattaya City. And so my expectation for at least the next coming decade is that Pattaya is going to bloom. There's a lot of new residents that are moving to Pattaya. There's a lot of growth. The growth of Pattaya City is likely not to go up north because that would be closer to Lemchapang port. The beaches aren't that nice and you see a little bit of the chemical and oil industry in the far distance, but it will grow south towards Bangsaray area, where the beaches are very nice, where we have a nice backdrop in East Pattaya from the dark side, to Huai, Silver Lake area, Bang Saray, and I see a lot of movement in that area, and so I think we're going to be really busy. And so, is that a positive thing for Pattaya? Yeah, I think it is, because infrastructure improvement is always good. If you are easy to mobilize yourself in town without too many traffic congestion, that's a good thing anyway. So it's I'm very happy and I'm very excited to see what's going to happen in Pattaya. And so from my viewpoint as a real estate broker, yes, I'm very, very excited. It's not just the EEC planning, but this long-term, many years of rumors of shall we have a casino in Thailand or not?
Oh.
Who knows? Maybe we will have a casino in Thailand, and shall we then become a big casino hub or whatever? I don't know. I remember that somebody ever told me that they lived in Las Vegas, that started off as a little place in the middle of the desert until the casino came. So who knows what's going to happen? Imagine that with the new government and everything goes well and they decide to open up a casino. It's very likely that they will start opening one, and maybe the first one here in Pattaya City. Wow.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Sky is the limit.
Yeah, that would be a pretty cool thing, like having a casino right next to the ocean.
It surely will be a wonderful thing. And I'm not a gambler, but just to see the fact of having a casino in Pattaya would put this place on the map as a world metropolitan city. I mean, it's already one of the most favorable tourist destinations in the world, not just Thailand, but Pattaya in itself. And if we add a casino on top, then it's going to be, like I said, sky is the limit.
Yeah. So you have a lot of experience as a real estate broker, but you also have a lot of experience as being a man in Pattaya. Do you have any kind of tips and advice or warnings for guys that might be coming out to Pattaya for the first time to be careful of?
Well, I always say it's very simple: go with the flow. And go with the flow means not just only in traffic, because people are panicking when they think about Thailand traffic. But if you just go with the flow, don't drive too slow, don't drive too fast, don't change lanes rapidly without looking into your mirrors. But go with the flow is the same with society. And no matter where you are, anywhere in the world, even if you go to a restaurant, a shopping mall, or a bar or whatever, if you just behave and treat other people with respect and a smile, I don't see any problem that you could ever have in Pattaya City. So as a man or woman, doesn't matter, just stay out of trouble and go with the flow. See, what I see in Pattaya, and that's a big difference from many other countries in the world. Even if you have money and you drive this Lamborghini convertible, but you're a bit snobbish and not smiley, and you have a bit of a jerk character, if I can say that, you won't have many friends. But if you're on a bicycle with a sleeveless shirt and a short, and you smile and you're friendly to everyone, you will build up friendships here in Thailand very easily. And as far as safety concerns go, I can tell you I feel a lot safer in Thailand over the last 25 years than I would feel anywhere in Europe or even in Holland if I go visit my mom or my family, because I think Thailand is a really safe country.
Very nice. And the last thing that I want to talk about too is, can you briefly describe your movers and shakers events? And also the next event is coming up, right?
Yeah, sure. Movers and shakers. Okay. So many years ago, there was a club called Lighthouse Club in Pattaya. Lighthouse Club came to me and they asked me if I would try to help them to kind of make their events a little bit more buzzing. And so, long story short, the Lighthouse Club is a charity club that spends their money or earnings by networking events and sponsors, and then spend it on the well-being of construction workers. So it's actually a very nice thing that they do. Because back then we were building our own projects, and I thought, it's probably a good thing to do, and I became chairman of the Lighthouse Club. Now the Lighthouse Club, when I took over, they had a monthly event which was either in Irish pub A or Irish pub B, and on a Friday night it was actually just a piss up. And so the first thing I decided with the Lighthouse Club is trying to get it out of the pub atmosphere and then just bring it to maybe a hotel or something. And people thought I was crazy. Anyway, that became actually quite successful. So I run the Lighthouse Club maybe for about 2 years. At its highlight, which I think was a highlight, we had a sit-down dinner in a 5-star hotel ballroom with 250 guests, paying 4,000 baht per head to join the dinner, and all the proceeds were given to charity. So, and I thought, I'm on my peak here, let somebody else take it over and I'm gonna step down. And so I did. And I don't know what inspired me, but I ever sponsored as Town and Country Property a Chamber of Commerce event. And the Chambers of Commerce back then in Pattaya were kind of the same like Lighthouse. So the Chambers of Commerce always had a gathering in some kind of a restaurant or bar or whatever, and not really exciting. And so I was seated on a table outside having a beer, and with 2 friends, one active in a moving company, the removals, and another one, a friend that's publishing a magazine. And so we were seated outside, and I said, why don't we try and do something different? And if we would organize maybe a golf tournament, and I'm not a golfer, but it's popular because there's so many nice golf courses in the area. And then after the golf tournament, we will do the awards and the prizes of whoever won the Texas Scramble. We will do it in an area where we invite other people to join us. So like a network. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. So this guy in the moving company said, yeah, that's nice. I'm a golfer, and so I'd like to join. And so did my friend from the magazine. I said yes, and then you can publish it in your magazine and make a bit of promotion, and we try to see if we can get a fair group together. Oh, good, should we give it a name? I said, well, you're in the moving company. Let's call it Shakers and Movers. Shakers and Movers. No, it's the other way around. It's Movers and Shakers. Okay, then we'll call it Movers and Shakers. So on the 25th of September in 2009, we had our first event called Movers and Shakers, golf outing or whatever it was called. And so, and to my surprise, very fast, the Texas Scramble, which is I think enough for 125 people to participate, was fully booked. And I thought, wow, that's going really well. I hope it's going to be busy at the network as well. So, and anyway, so I was very excited to see what was going on, and people came back from the golf course, and it started to become busy. And that night we got 400 people that came to the event. I was completely flabbergasted. And so unfortunately at 7:30 it started to splash down with rain. And it was a rainstorm, it's unbelievable. So everybody was searching for shelter in the park that we were having this event, which was at the project called The Village in Jomtien, which is an outdoor area, very nice though. So everybody was having shelter under the sala and the roofs, and actually nobody left because of the rain, because if you would walk back to your car, you would be soaking wet, so everybody stayed. Now the rain only took about 20 minutes. And after the rain stopped, everybody relaxed again, and so the network resumed. But it was such a great success that we decided, okay, we're going to do another golf tournament next year. And so by then, that's almost 2 years later, actually the Lighthouse Club kind of slimmered down, and I guess nobody took over what we've done in the past, and so there was time for a new network. And so I told my friends, let's continue with movers and shakers, but just drop the golf because I'm not a golfer, and we just concentrate on networking events. And so movers and shakers started. It's now nearly 15 years later, and I organized more than 60 events, movers and shakers.
Wow.
Not just in Pattaya, but also in Bangkok. In Bangkok, we did probably almost every 5-star hotel. And there's something about these movers and shakers, I don't know what it is, but that makes people coming and they get very excited. And it's like a glamorous event, and the women are completely dressed up and go to the beauty salon and put their hairs up and buy new heels and God knows what. And so yeah, we've been very successful. And then suddenly COVID hit us, not only us, but everyone else in the world. And so we were wiped out for nearly 2 years, I think. You know, people had to wear face masks, and you couldn't have gatherings more than 50 people, and everybody had to register showing your vaccine passport and all this nonsense. Anyway, long story short, we kicked off last year again with the Movers and Shakers that was held at the Marriott Courtyard Hotel in Wongamart. And I think we were the first networking event that said, you don't need to bring your vaccination pass, you don't need to wear face masks, you don't need to register, no nothing. And people were like, wow, this is it, you know, but some were still a little bit scared, you know, oh, are you sure it's safe and that. So right now, the next upcoming event will be held on Friday, 25th of August. At the Amari Pattaya on Beach Road, beautiful 5-star hotel. We will occupy the full capacity of the Grand Ballroom, and the event's title sponsor is ESS Developments. Those are the developers of various projects, but their 2 flagship projects at this moment are the Zenzuri Pool Villas, one project in Koh Chan and another project in the center of Pattaya City. And so that's the title sponsor. Very thankful I am for a large number of co-sponsors that help us to support this Movers and Shakers event, because after COVID I can see a lot of prices actually went up. The prices of your drinks, let's say, venue itself, artists, etc., etc. It's getting really expensive to organize an event like this. And so just only because of the title sponsor plus the help of the co-sponsors, we're able to pull it off. So put in your diary, Friday, 25th of August, we kick off at 6 o'clock in the evening until late. The admission fee is only 750 baht, and you'll be guaranteed of, wow, the time of your life. Free flow of drinks, food, beautiful atmosphere, and a great opportunity to network with colleagues and friends. It's like a homecoming in Pattaya. All of the business leaders will be at the event, and it's going to be very excited.
And if someone wants to go sign up for that event, is it best to message the Facebook group?
No, you don't need to sign up. You just pay as you go. I don't have any memberships or tickets on pre-sale, nothing like that. You just pay as you go.
Or just show up and pay the fee?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's all very exciting.
Yes.
Well, Casey, thank you very much for meeting with me today.
Okay.
I'm sure the viewers are really going to enjoy listening to some of the advice you have to share. And if you need to get in contact with me or Casey, you know where to find us. Right?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Casey.
Thanks for having me.